Hello once again, wrestling fans, and welcome to Off the Top Rope Radio, heard worldwide on KQCK radio stations. I'm your host, Brian Shank, and in the next hour, we'll discuss all that is professional wrestling. You'll hear the latest news, informative interviews with the biggest stars in the business, and maybe even a few surprises along the way. It all starts right now on KQCK radio stations, USA and Costa Rica.
If you're in the game.
Yeah, then the stroke's the word, baby. I remember back in 1981 on the playground, my friend Jason said that song was about golf. I was only 10 years old, but I says, you know what? I have a feeling it's not about golf, Jason. And still to this day, he claims that he had it the other way around, that I said that, which is a lie, a damn lie. But anyway, we're glad to have you here. This is Off the Top Rope Radio at Brian Shank right here, live on KQCK, heard exclusively around the world on KQCK.com. We're glad to have you here. We're happy to be here once again, talking about professional wrestling, some interesting stories, some news bits, all the good stuff in wrestling right here in the next 58 minutes or so. If you're watching us live on the camera feed here, we have a brand new graphic outlay here. It's really cool, nice and bright and sunny. It's a little bit of a temporary template, so to speak. We're going to jazz it up a little bit here, but definitely looks very nice, and some good things are happening for us here at KQCK and Off the Top Rope Radio. So we're glad to have you here. Sit back and enjoy yourselves. My name is Brian Shank. I'm the host of the program, as always. And don't forget, we're on every single Wednesday right here at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And this show is brought to you today by Solaris Medical Wellness outside of Chandler, Arizona. You can check them out at solarismedicalwellness.com. All the information you want for doctors and patients and appointment requests and offices and services and the fine staff of Solaris Medical Wellness. So God bless those people out there in Chandler. I got this fly in the studio again, Doug. It's killing me. Dougie Fresh, let's bring you out here from WrestlingRumors.net. How you doing, my friend? Is everything good your way?
That's why I was singing these. Stroke me.
It's going to be singing swat me in a few minutes instead. Damn thing. So, Doug, it's always great to have you here because we like to break down Raw from the past couple of days. And I got to tell you something. On Raw, I saw a wrestler dressed as a bunny splashing Titus O'Neil. I saw Jerry Springer get hurt on Raw. I also saw The Miz's blurred out naked ass on my TV screen on Raw. Now, those are three things that I would never put at the top of my list for a premier wrestling program on a Monday night. What I would have put was the two great things involving the cage and the awesome banter between John Cena and Paul Heyman, as well as the super tag team match with the NXT gentlemen. And we're going to talk about it. It was a good Raw. It was a bad Raw. It was right in the middle for me. Some things made up for the corniness and the crappiness, which we just talked about. This one is pretty interesting. Let's jump right into it. First of all, what was your overall thoughts, Doug McDonald from WrestlingRumors.net, senior editor, by the way, of this particular Raw program? Because I'm going to unleash like crazy later on, but I want to hear what you got to say.
Well, we got what you were saying. We got three awesome wrestling matches.
Mm-hmm.
So I was excited about that. And one was only like 2.5 minutes long. So that's all. There are a few of the segments I like that, with the cheesy kind of segments. I enjoyed the Miz and Dolph Ziggler segment. Not about the Miz there behind, but I like the segment. I like the fact that it felt like the IC title meant something.
Mm-hmm.
But I really loved the promo between Paul Heyman and John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, the rest of the show was easy bull crap I could have never seen and been okay with.
Yeah, I just thought that the Raw just kind of fell flat in so many ways, but like I said, there were some things that really saved it. Had they not had the tag team with the NXT match and also with some of the things they did with the cage, I mean, there was two insane situations with the cage. We saw the first one with Jericho jumping off the top of the cage onto Bray Wyatt and damn near just splatting him in half. And then we also saw, later on in that show, we saw Seth Rollins do the same thing to Roman Reigns. And, I thought thought that the thing with Jericho was pretty cool because it was something we haven't seen in such a long time, and then we saw it again. Do you think it kind of took away a little bit from the magic initially we saw in the beginning of the show, or do you think it didn't really matter, just kind of added to the excitement?
Yeah, I think it added to the excitement. I don't think it took anything away, especially when Seth Rollins almost got impaled by the freaking cage.
I know.
He was supposed to. He was trying to slide in there. I think the crossbody he just did as improv.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually hit the crossbody. Jericho kind of wound up doing a forearm smash. But there was two different dynamics, two different times in the show. I didn't think that it took anything away.
Okay.
I thought both spots were great, but Rollins, being the acrobat that he is, actually hit the crossbody dead on, and I thought it was fantastic.
It was good. I thought it was very good. I thought that really kind of made a nice save for Raw near the end there, because let's talk about let's break it down a little bit. Let's talk about the bad and we'll talk about the good, because I always like to end things on a decent note, and I want to make sure we get into some of that. The whole thing with Jerry Springer, totally hokey, silly. It was what you expect. It is what you expected it to be, which was cheesy, just like his regular show. I can be proud to say, as an American of my age, that I have never watched a full episode of the Jerry Springer Show, and the reason being is because it's not that good. Now, the other thing is that really cracked me up is Springer was actually pretty decent in his role, because he just kind of carried it over from his show, from what I've seen of his show, and it made me laugh when he introduced JJ Bella, and it came out JJ Garcia. That kind of made me laugh a little bit, but whatever.
Really funny.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really matter by that time. Now, I got to ask you, where does JJ Garcia buy his suits? Because I think he needs a bigger size. There was just something very wrong about that picture of him walking down in that suit. I mean, it looked like 2 pounds of bologna.
Batista buys his.
Well, yeah, probably so. They probably got a 2-for-1 special, but it looked like a 2-pound bologna in a 1-pound bag. It just didn't make any sense to me. But yeah, so anyway, enough about his suit. But the skit was what it was, and I heard a lot of people in the beginning of the interview and during it and throughout and everything shouting boring and everything else. And I just don't really understand why they have segments like this on a program when they could elevate and really make things happen for the likes of those awesome guys from NXT. I mean, to me, if they would put a few more of those matches on there and cross it over, and I hope they do in the future. I hope this was just a little sampling.
They're definitely going to.
They have to. Why are they doing this? I mean, is it because the two people that they're involved with are two of the biggest stars, like Daniel Bryan and John Cena? Is that the only reason why? I mean, I remember the Bellas for the longest time were just bringing people out who were the special guests that day, giving them a kiss, doing something silly backstage, and that was all you saw, the Bellas. I mean, they're trying to elevate
Total
them.
Divas, better.
Yeah, Total Divas. I know that show really. I never watched that show. I don't know.
It's Total Divas.
Yeah.
That is literally the reason we're getting this feud. And as soon as they have a match, as soon as Brie and Nikki, which I think this will go all the way to Survivor Series at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like it, but I think you're going to see Team Nikki versus Team Brie at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
And and it's merely for Total Divas.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it'll be the Total Divas cast in that match. The faces versus the heels.
It doesn't seem like there's a lot of women involved that really catch my interest in this league. I mean, they're really, they're trying to put two main event type of situations and scenarios at the top of the list. I mean, the Bellas, and they're really pushing the AJ Lee and Paige situation, which I find somewhat interesting because it does involve, some kind of controversy around their attitudes, their demeanor, their, frenemies, so to speak, the belt, the championship. I kind of dig that. I can see it. I can accept that because that's not insulting my intelligence or making me go,
Right, I like them a lot.
yeah, they're pretty good. I don't mind that at all. But the whole thing with the Bellas, I mean, God bless them. They're beautiful. I'm sure they're very nice young ladies, and I've heard a lot of people say very good things about them and whatever else. I've also heard other things about one and the other and different from what you read and everything. But still, regardless, it's like I just feel like that's really taking a lot away from what they can really put on that TV screen. And I just didn't like the whole segment at all. I thought it fell flat. And by the way, did Jerry Springer really hurt himself, or was that all just a big thing at the end? Okay. Well, we had some people writing. I heard, yeah.
He and Stephanie McMahon were smiling at each other when they were going back, like when they were trying to get him on the freaking thing because they didn't know the camera was on. As soon as Stephanie looked up and saw the camera, she stopped smiling and started looking sad again. And I'm like, get out of here.
Yeah, it was. Good.
It's all for the camera. It's all right.
Yeah. thumbs up, like he was a race car driver that got hit on the third turn or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about something else that kind of made me just go, ugh. We've been hearing some rumors about the bunny, involving himself in with these Titus O'Neil matches with Adam Rose and whatnot. There's been a lot of speculation, and I'm going to say the speculation part first and then kind of contradict it, because the speculation is that supposedly is Darren Young, who used to be one half of the primetime players, dressed up to get his revenge or to reconcile with him. But the only problem is, if you look at the bunny's skin is white. Darren Young is black. I don't think that that's who that is behind the thing. I think people are kind of a little bit more smart than that. What have you kind of thought about this, and where do you think this is going, and where do you think it's going to end up? I mean, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, he definitely has darker skin. I mean, it looks white, but it's very orange. I thought it was something Gabriel was that writer.
Mm-hmm.
That's my name. Very well could have been. We could see the old, there was a black blue blazer at one point, right?
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
He took that Coco Beware donned the blue blazer outfit.
He sure did.
And the whole Owen Hart thing. Honestly, it could be one of those where they just don't think you notice finger color, and whenever they want to unveil it, that it's Darren Young, then they'll do so, and you won't ask questions. But
Yeah.
right now, it could be they're using whoever they can, and whenever they want to put someone else for an angle, they'll do it. And that's Darren Young, what they're talking about.
You're breaking up quite a bit there. You went from really good to kind of breaking up. I don't know if there's.
Funny, I haven't moved.
Oh, perfect. Now you just came back sounding like you're in the same room with me. That was awesome right there. Just whatever you just. I
didn't do anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, cell phones, it's crazy, but you were just like kind of doing the thing. But now we can hear you just great. Just kind of re-say what you said there a minute ago about that, because there is talk about Darren Young obviously being hurt still, and he's recuperating and whatnot. So maybe when the time does come, he will be the ultimate one to do that and come on out. I mean, what are your thoughts about this whole thing? Just kind of retell us if you would.
Yeah, I think right now they're using Justin Gabriel, Zack Ryder, whoever they can put in the suit, and much like they did with the Blue Blazer and Coco Beware.
Yeah.
When they feel it's time to put someone else in there and make the reveal as part of an angle, they'll do it, and they'll hope you haven't said it's the right hand.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's kind of...
The Darren Young angle at least makes sense.
Yes, it does.
He's trying to take out Heath Slater. He's the former partner of Titus O'Neil.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. No, it definitely makes sense, and I'm just kind of wondering, are they going to do it to where if he says, I've been doing this to get back with him or to get revenge on him? Because people have said it either way, and I'm thinking to myself, well, if he's trying to get back with him, I don't think splashing him and kicking his ass during the end of the matches is a good way to reconcile a bitterness feud. It doesn't make any sense to me. So, I mean, there's going to be something there. I think that they're really wasting Titus O'Neil. I mean, you talk about a guy who can be a beast. I mean, this guy, just looking at him on TV alone, let alone being in front of him in person, the guy is mean and big, and he can actually work inside the ring decent enough to really kind of make some sort of splash in the WWE right now. I think there's definitely some formidable opponents that he can take on. I hate to see him kind of be kicked off to the wayside. I think he's one of those guys that really has a good look to him and can definitely talk and can work for the most part, and he has that look about him. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they were eventually going to have him come over to the side that they were trying to do with Kofi Kingston and stuff like that. I'm just kind of confused right now because, again, it scratches our heads all the time every week by seeing some of the stuff they put out to us, and we say, why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? To me, Titus O'Neil is one of those people.
Well, again, I'll say this. You have 25 different writers, and they're all trying to do different things. And that's why we're not getting consistent television.
Yeah.
That's why we're getting just awkward and weird creative ideas on TV. And yet you watch NXT on Thursday night, and it is more consistent. And that's because there's only one writer.
Yeah.
And now he's moving to SmackDown.
Yeah.
So SmackDown, apparently, one of the correspondents for us from SmackDown was giving us spoilers of the event. said that SmackDown was 10 times more enjoyable than Raw.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to watch SmackDown on Friday.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where they have a new head writer, and it's the guy that used to write SmackDown or NXT by himself. And the SmackDown head writers have moved to NXT. So let's see what happens as far as creative for NXT. But we know Triple H had a press conference today about NXT, and he wants NXT's program to get just as popular as WCW Nitro has gotten. You know, like how it became almost a rival, how it became a rival company to Raw and SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
He wants NXT to be almost a rival to the other show.
Well, I'll tell you what. If they want to elevate this, I got news for you. A lot of fans who have not watched NXT, and we don't really put a lot of focus on it every week, but I'll tell you what, this really was a great thing for these four guys. NXT champion Adrian Neville, Sami Zayn taking on Tyler Breeze and Tyson Kidd. A great match. I'll give some pros and cons on this. Pros, it was a good wrestling match with not just a bunch of spots. I mean, there was a certain amount of spots. They had to do that, but they did incorporate some good rest holds, some kind of psychology holds, some arm bars, some hammer locks. I mean, there was some old school feel to this, and I kind of think that maybe has to do with possibly their agents who were involved in this, putting this match together. So I like that. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like a Jushin Liger versus Psychosis match back from 1998. It wasn't like that. To me, it was a little bit more thought out, a little bit more realistic, and I liked it. I thought it was very good. The pace was good. I don't think they rushed it a lot, but I do think obviously they had a time that they had to, get it all in and everything else. I'm going to tell you something. What they did in terms of booking it the way they did by having Sami Zayn come in, I'll call him the Robert Gibson of the group, and let I almost said Aaron Neville. I don't know much, but I know Adrian Neville. Let's do it together. Ready? And that may be all I need to know. I was going to play that.
The worst is when he does like a Christmas song. He's like,
I remember the old commercial he did for cotton. The look and feel of cotton, the fabric of our lives. Remember that? Hold on a minute. I'm gonna play something for you. Hold on a second. I got something for you right now. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Can you hear this? Can you hear this? Hold on. Can you hear that? Hold on. Can you hear that?
Well, I can't hear it.
Okay, hold on a minute. Everybody plays the fool. Oh, there you go.
There it is. I hear it now.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think the one.
And we have derailed.
I think the one you were talking about was this one. It came upon a midnight clear. I don't know.
I don't know what's worse.
Whoops.
I don't know what's worse. Aaron Neville singing Christmas songs, or you having those Christmas songs ready to queue up on the dime.
Hey, let me tell you something. Here at the KQCK radio station here in Santan Valley, Arizona, we've got it all, baby. We've got 1080p high definition up on the screen. We got every damn song you can think of under the moon. We've got video. We got it all. I got it all ready. You name an artist, I'll play it right now. I can find something. Yeah, good stuff. But no, Adrian Neville. I love Adrian. I thought, him sitting back and being the Ricky Morton of the group, as I was getting to, waiting for that hot tag, and then for him to come on. And the thing I liked about it too, Doug, is and I'm not usually all that big on Michael Cole's commentary and JBL and Jerry Lawler. I just, whatever. It is what it is. But I liked how they were building up by saying, wait till you see this guy get in here, because there was a lot of people.
They actually called the match.
I know. That was my point. They called the match. They didn't talk about some goofy crap that happened 10 minutes ago or $9.99 or whatever else. They called the match, and I like that. And they said, wait till you see when Adrian Neville gets in. I'm going to keep saying Aaron Neville all night. But Adrian Neville, wait till he gets in there. And he came in there, and the red arrow, everything about it was very, very good. If they can do a weekly wrestling show like this by calling the matches, having some good wrestling content, to me, that would make me a happy camper. And everything about this was very good. And that's why I'm giving all four of these gentlemen, Neville, Zayn, Breeze, and Kidd, my superstars of the week. There you go.
I was going to say the same exact thing.
Damn it.
I was.
Oh, well.
All four would have to be my superstars of the week. And I would say anyone that has not watched NXT and you have the network, you better watch NXT TakeOver tomorrow night.
Yep.
Because it's going to be incredible. I tell you this, both NXT specials have been incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to sit your butt down and watch TakeOver 2 tomorrow night.
Yeah. I'll tell you.
Charlotte versus Bayley for
Yeah.
the Women's Championship, the
Mhm.
Ascension versus Kalisto and Sin Cara.
Mhm.
I would think that we might even see all 3 titles that are on the line change.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to want to pull Charlotte up very soon, put her on TV with her father.
Yep.
So I think that we're going to see Charlotte lose the title to Bayley, who I think needs a new gimmick. But either way, she's good in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte's incredible. I think we're going to see her very soon and get some really awesome Charlotte versus Natalya match, just like on the last NXT TakeOver. And it's going to be a good show tomorrow night.
Yeah, the Fatal 4-Way, which will be the Fatal 4-Way match. Aaron, I keep saying Aaron, dude. I can't help it. Adrian Neville faces toughest challenge yet. He defends against Sami Zayn, Tyler Breeze. Great stuff. I mean, this was really a really nice way to get it involved, and I would love to have seen the interest meter peaking, I think, for a lot of the casual fans when that came on, because I got to admit, I wasn't too sure how it would take, to the people. But if you rewatch that match, there's one girl in the audience in the front row, eye level with the ring. When he hits that red arrow, I'm talking about Adrian Neville. When he hits that red arrow, she literally, as he hits the body when he comes down, her face. You thought the dude with the Undertaker by him losing at WrestleMania was big. Rewatch her expression. She just went. Her eyes got as big as hubcaps and just went, "Wow!" Now, that, to me, is a hell of an accomplishment by the WWE, because when you can get someone just to say, wow, and have your eyes talk for you, that, to me, there's a winning formula there. And they really hit it with this 4-way, tag team match. I mean, this was really very, very good. I liked it a lot.
Well, I'll say this, because if I wasn't going to go with those guys, I would say Paul Heyman was my Superstar of the Week.
Yeah.
Again. But when we're talking about Adrian Neville, when he comes up, he's so awesome in the ring.
Yeah.
But he has such a disconnect with his accent and his verbalization. So I would love to see him become a Heyman guy and have Paul Heyman be the mouthpiece of this guy. I swear. Sami Zayn, you saw the response he got. They were chanting "Olay" for him because he was El Jericho.
Yeah.
And everybody knew who he was, and he got an immediate response once he got out there. Sami Zayn's going to be okay. He brings that energy that we're missing from Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Adrian Neville brings the same energy, but he has a disconnect because of his accent and the way that he communicates.
Right.
If you put him with someone like Dutch Mantell or Paul Heyman, sky's the limit for the guy.
Without a doubt. And you think about when they put Cesaro with Paul Heyman, you thought there was going to be something there to elevate his character. But to me, someone like Cesaro,
They didn't allow that.
No, I know. But the thing about Cesaro right now, Doug, and I think that you and I can both agree on this. I think if we would rewind back to like April 8th of this year, saying now here it is September 10th, a full 5 months down the road after WrestleMania, I think that if we would have said, knowing what we know right now about Cesaro's character and his status in the WWE, I think we both would have looked at each other and went, no, he'll probably be doing this or doing that. But what he's doing right now, I know that there's probably some future plans for him. Obviously, he has the talent. He has a lot of qualities about him that can make him a great ambassador to the WWE in so many levels. And I think that this just makes a lot of sense for him to kind of really, really now start to go. But you saw what he did with Sheamus, how he's going after the U.S. belt, how he's having that feud go on. But I don't think 5 months ago, Doug, you and I would be sitting here right now talking about Cesaro at his current state the way it is right now. I mean, do you agree?
No, but thank God they're allowing him to show
Yes.
charisma and show his own character again.
Exactly.
And in this feud, it's
Yes.
the first one that they've allowed him to do that since WrestleMania.
And that was my point. Yes. Very good.
They killed. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They killed it because they wanted him to be a heel, and they tried to put the heat from Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman on Cesaro. It didn't work. And now they've removed Cesaro from Paul Heyman, and Cesaro is able to be his own character, and it's working now. People are getting behind Cesaro again. Now, if they just take his terrible entrance music and get rid of it and give him something different, he'll connect even better.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you on that. I think there's a lot of good things in store for Cesaro down the road. I mean, we talked about what a great quality he has. I mean, 4 or 5 different languages that he speaks, and one of them is German, as you knew that already. But I like it. I think that there was a lot of good things on this show. And I know that there's always going to be something on a Raw or something on a SmackDown or whatever that's going to just make you go, oh God, why did they just do that? I mean, the Springer thing for me just. I'm sorry, but that just bored me to friggin' tears. I mean, I made fun of my wife earlier in the day for her watching General Hospital. I mean, she watches that stupid soap opera for like 30 years now, I guess, going back to her teen years. And she watches that. I said, oh my God, this acting is horrible. But then 2 hours later, I turn on Raw and I see the Bellas and I say, I have no right to say anything to my wife anymore, once again, about General Hospital. And on behalf of Off the Top Rope Radio and Brian Shank here, I'll let Doug speak for himself, but I do apologize for that comment, because it was bad. So we'll leave it at that and move on. So, okay. I just want to make sure I got that apology out there. So, all right. So, Doug, we got about another 2 minutes here left in the show. What would you like to speak about regarding this? I'll go ahead and give you the floor, and we'll just take it from there.
Regarding what again?
Anything, whatever you want to talk about. You want to talk about Night of Champions coming up? I mean, do you want to anything about the show itself or any of the superstars coming up in the tag team division? Anything else that you just want to touch on? Because there's.
I think overall, with what we saw Monday night, what we're going to see on Friday night, we're more matches are being made Night of Champions, and then we'll talk more about Night of Champions next Wednesday.
Yeah.
But this is stepping up the event that. Not a lot of people are super excited for it because TV had to separate. But when that happened, our favorites been amazing. So I'm excited about the pay-per-view because I'm going to have this. And it's when that happens that we usually get really good events on pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to, more than anything, the return of Dean Ambrose.
Yeah. And
they've made, spoiler alert, they've made a match between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns for Night of Champions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, Ambrose is done on the 20th with filming, and he's already advertised for Raw on the 22nd. Why would they not use him as a shock factor on the 21st and bring him out?
They should.
I think I'm looking more forward to his return than I am anything else at this moment.
Yeah.
And I believe that it'll happen at Night of Champions, whether it's in the Reigns and Rollins match or if Rollins tries to cash in after Cena Lesnar. Because I really think that if because Lesnar is scheduled to go against Show for the title at Hell in a Cell.
Yes.
So if Lesnar is going to Big Show, then Cena has to lose again, and Cena and Seth Rollins are supposedly going to be feuding for the upcoming month, like Hell in a Cell and Survivor Series type of time. So for me, have Cena get so pissed that he lost again, kind of show some of his aggression,
right?
Beat the holy hell out of Lesnar, and have Rollins try to cash in. I mean, that would lead us to Ambrose Rollins again, and you could have Cena come in. I don't know. Something's going to happen. Ambrose is coming in. Something has to happen with Cena to have Cena Rollins go forward. I'm just more excited to see what the fallout is of Night of Champions than I am for the event itself. But I'm excited about it. I really think that we're going to see some good progression towards the fall, even though the fall is usually not great.
Yeah.
I'm excited about what's to come because I'm not really excited about the title picture because Big Show.
Yeah.
It always feels like during the fall when they have nothing else to do, they put Big Show in the main event title picture.
Yeah, you're right about that. Well,
it makes zero sense.
Yeah, no, you're right. We got to get rolling out of here. Unfortunately, we're hitting that half-hour mark. But no, great points, great comments, very well said. I totally agree with everything you just said there in the last couple minutes. It should be good. We'll have our predictions next week right here on the show about what's going on, and we'll talk more about things on next Wednesday, the 17th of September. And as usual, Doug, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with me for a while, and we'll definitely talk to you next week.
Sounds good, brother. We'll catch you on the next one.
You sound, yep. Take care, buddy. Bye-bye. All right, there you go. Doug McDonald, WrestlingRumors.net. Check it out. It's awesome. We'll be right back with an interview with Sam Houston. Don't go away.
Are you having plumbing or septic problems? No worries. Call Cartwright's Queen Creek Plumbing and Septic Service. Been in the Valley since 1996. Family owned and operated. Proudly serving East Valley and surrounding areas. With a full range of services from drain cleaning, septic tank pumping, general maintenance and repairs, inspections for the sale of your home. They provide excellent and courteous service for all your plumbing and septic needs. We're not satisfied till you are satisfied. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Call today. Cartwright's Queen Creek Plumbing and Septic Service. Contact Denise at 480-987-8051. That's 480-987-8051.
AZ Computer Geeks is your local hometown go-to computer company, focusing on providing comprehensive computer repair services for PC and Mac computers, desktops, and laptops. Working with individuals and businesses small and large with over 20 years of hands-on experience, AZ Computer Geeks technicians have many certifications and love what they do. Believing in 100% customer-satisfied service, you will get free diagnosis and professional quality individualized services for your needs. Growing on referrals, AZ Computer Geeks loves your feedback. Refurbished desktops and laptops available for sale. Also building custom systems to your specifications. Check out azcomputergeeks.com or call 480-729-8899.
Hi, Marie here for wannasing.com. Are you looking for professional DJ or karaoke services for your next holiday party or get-together? wannasing.com can provide the best in sound, lighting, and a professional MC to host your next event. Whether it be a company party, birthday party, wedding, or any occasion, wannasing.com is ready to provide the fun and make it a night to remember for years to come. Call 480-664-8801. That's 480-664-8801. Mention this radio ad and receive a special discount for your next fun event. wannasing.com. Our family pets are such a big part of our lives. That's why Kelly's Critter Clips of Queen Creek and Sun Lakes has been providing pet grooming services for over 10 years. Your dog's comfort is very important to us, so we take the time to treat your pet with care, love, and professional attention it deserves. We welcome any size and breed and feature shampoo and conditioning, styling, flea and tick dips, ear cleaning, nail trimming, and so many other services that will leave your pet looking good and smelling good and feeling great, all at an affordable price. Located in Queen Creek and Sun Lakes, call now for an appointment, 480-655-5066. Kelly's Critter Clips. Are you ready to start taking control of your future and maximize your earning potential? Central Arizona College has smaller class sizes and personalized attention to help you compete in today's tough job market. CAC now serves Santan Valley and Queen Creek. The CAC Santan Center is located in the shops at Copper Basin on Hunt Highway, behind Barrow's Pizza. Stop in and see how taking classes at CAC costs a fraction of a state university, and your credits can transfer. So, if you want to earn real money, you need to learn real skills at Central Arizona College. Enroll in classes today by calling 480-677-7825 or visit www.centralaz.edu or call 480-677-7825 or visit www.centralaz.edu. Central Arizona College, your way.
All right, back here at Off the Top Rope Radio, right here on good old KQCK radio station, heard exclusively on KQCKradio.com. Hey, we have a little bit of a situation going on here. We're trying to reach Sam Houston, our special guest for today. Sam does have a very interesting job where he works on rigs out in the ocean and everything else, and he said there might be a small possibility where he might be away where he can't get to it. I did leave a message off the air here, and we talked on his voicemail, so hopefully he'll get that message and he'll tune in and give us a call, and we can have an interview with him. So I do apologize for that. I know that's not his style. That's not how he does things. He was looking very forward to coming on the show today and talking about his life and his career and everything else with us here on Off the Top Rope Radio. So hopefully he'll call us in and we can get him on the phone, and we'll definitely hopefully have an interview with him here relatively soon. He has my number. He knows how to get a hold of me. So we'll go on with some more stuff here regarding the show. There's been some recent news here in the last day or so. Sean O'Hare, who wrestled in WCW for a while and also wrestled in the WWE in 2003, came out to the ring with Roddy Piper and everything else. It's been reported that he has passed away. He was 43 years of age. This happened on September 9th. And it's very sad. It was yesterday. Apparently a suicide. And it says here that TMZ.com claims that O'Hare tragically committed suicide by hanging himself. The former WWE and WCW superstar was found in his bedroom close to his bed with a rope fashioned around his neck and bedpost. I guess his father made the discovery and called 911. They were not able to resuscitate him or whatever. So rest in peace, Sean O'Hare. I remember when he came in to WCW, it was a big splash with Chuck Palumbo and Mike Sanders, and it was a pretty interesting thing because it was kind of like WCW trying to reinvent themselves with a new crop of wrestlers from the power plant. And Sean O'Hare was definitely one of those. And he had some talent. Very big guy, very evil looking in his eyes. Great looking heel, I mean, he just had that look about him. And he was a very scary individual. And he had some success, maybe not as much as he probably liked to from what I heard in the past, but we had Chuck Palumbo on the phone not too long ago. Maybe I have Chuck on next week and talk a little bit about the life and times of Sean O'Hare and whatnot. But definitely a sad situation. I mean, anybody at that age who takes their own life or passes away for any reason, I mean, that's definitely a sad situation. So we do offer our condolences and respects to the O'Hare family for what happened here and everything else. And we never obviously like to talk about situations like that. The other thing is that hopefully, Sam will give us a call here, and maybe I'll take a break and try to call him again here in a few minutes. But I talked to Sam on Monday, Sam Houston, real name Mike Smith, who is the brother of Jake the Snake Roberts and Miss Rockin' Robin, former WWE Ladies Champion. And I talked to him about Jake, and he said, last I had heard that he is basically being Jake, going out and doing his thing and, teasing the nurses and having some fun and whatnot. And we read reports on Sid Bodie, who is also a friend of his as well, who was Kazarni back in the WWE a few years back. And there's been some great reports on him. So that's wonderful news. I mean, obviously there's a lot of things going on that have surfaced about Jake the Snake Roberts. It was kind of funny because I even told Sam on the phone, I says, I really hope that Jake realizes he's being Jake, and that if what he went through in his life in the past so many years ain't going to kill him, neither is pneumonia or any kind of mass on the brain. And Sam just laughed and said, yeah, boy, ain't that the truth. So that's good news to hear about that. So, good and bad here so far. And we do wish Jake, obviously, a speedy recovery. I'm trying to get in touch with his people here to hopefully get him on the show here one of these days and maybe talk about it and whatnot. Jake's always been a good person and a good friend of our show here, and we appreciate that. The other thing I want to talk about is some other news that we don't really get a chance to talk about too much, and that's TNA Wrestling. Now, a lot of people say, well, TNA is dead. It's gone. It's buried. It's an afterthought. But, TNA is obviously still writing. It's still going on. It's still being taped and everything else. And there's been a lot of reports about them going after Alberto Del Rio, who was a longtime mainstay in the WWE for the past couple of years. It says here, and I'm reading this report off of WrestlingRumors.net. It says here about a month ago, they reported that TNA officials had reached out to the former WWE champion. And it says here that, he may want to come in. He may or may not. There's been a lot of, back and forth and whatnot. But it says here talent head John G., who used to be Big John Grubuk. It says here that he tried to get him in contact with Del Rio as recently as this past week, But supposedly he has a bit of a price tag that he wants to come in, which is pretty normal for a lot of people. I know Bubba Ray had the same situation going on with that as well, and obviously that kind of led to him maybe taking off and redoing his own thing. But there's a lot of value in Alberto Del Rio. I mean, obviously what he did, wasn't a great thing by attacking somebody. And I thought about this the other day with this whole Ray Rice situation. And I know the WWE always likes to incorporate real-life events into their storylines. We can go back to the O.J. Simpson situation with the Bronco chase and the whole Goldust and Roddy Piper thing at WrestleMania. I mean, it made sense from that standpoint to really kind of capitalize on one of the biggest news stories of the time. They could have, if they wouldn't have fired Del Rio, this would have been a perfect week to bring him back and kind of play into the whole thing with Ray Rice. Just saying. I mean, okay, well, Ray Rice slapped his wife, well, then fiance, now wife, and she hit the bell there, or the railing on the elevator, and fell down, and he dragged her out. It was a really horrible type of video to watch. I mean, it was just really stupid on his part, and it was very just stupid and sickening. I mean, to watch what he did. I mean, she was out cold like a light. But this is something the WWE could have easily used. If they had any footage on Alberto Del Rio, it wouldn't have mattered. They could have remade a new type of footage. They could have said that here's what happened. And I thought about the first moment I heard about the Ray Rice situation with the video coming out. I said to myself, this is a great idea for the WWE to go ahead and use Del Rio if he was still a member of the roster. Now, I'm just thinking outside the box maybe, but that's what WWE likes to do. I mean, it makes sense. It would have been a perfect thing for them to go ahead and bring into the forefront. I would have liked to have seen it. They could have interviewed him. They could have shown him doing something, with this, what else. They could have kind of redid the whole Kane and Daniel Bryan therapy thing. I mean, it could have made for some funny TV because let's face it, Del Rio has a great personality. He was an awesome, awesome heel, in my opinion. When they turned him face, it was due to a lot of reasons and whatnot. But I thought that he could have really benefited from this whole angle at Ray Rice. I mean, that's the first thing I thought of. I'm not kidding you. That's how demented my brain is sometimes. What's left of it. But, that could have been fun. It could have been really fun. He was released last month, around August 6th or 7th or whatever. And, he had some pretty bad things to say about calling the WWE being a racist company, saying this, and he said that he was only going to be suspended, but then he ended up getting fired, and they fired him because of that. Anytime that you incorporate real life violence, whether it's a domestic situation like Ray Rice or it's a professional situation like with Alberto Del Rio, you can't have that. You can't go around smacking people, and you can't go around punching people and assaulting people. It is a law. It's the law. I mean, you can't do it. You just can't do it, and you have to pay a price for that. Alberto Del Rio lost his job. Now, fortunately, there's other places like AAA, which he did go on to sign with, and there was TNA that maybe could be an option as well. I think it'd be a great option to go to TNA, in my opinion. Ray Rice, on the other hand, he doesn't have any options for the most part. I mean, he's been basically suspended indefinitely by the NFL, which means no teams could go up to him and say, hey, why don't we go ahead and sign you? Now, there's been a lot of jokes about him joining the Dallas Cowboys because they don't beat anybody. I'm just going to, my friend's a Dallas Cowboy fan, so apologies to all the Dallas Cowboy fans out there. I'm sorry about that. But, there's a lot of opportunities they could have run with this. And that was the first thing I was just like, this is perfect. So could Alberto Del Rio eventually join up in TNA somewhere? Yeah, I think it's a very good possibility. I really do. That could be a great idea for them. And the thing about TNA is that I like a lot what they have to offer. It's a very thin roster, and I think they're going to eventually run out of people to put up against each other. They don't have that type of farm league, and I'm not calling NXT any type of derogatory remark, but NXT is more of like a AAA situation for the WWE that they're showcasing and bringing up. I mean, I bring up that because when you think about when a team like my Chicago Cubs, who suck genuinely year after year after year, and you see in September and August and stuff like that where they start bringing up some of these guys who are going to eventually hopefully make the roster and turn things around because next year is the year for Cub fans. Well, that's not usually the case, but, that's what we say. And I'm a realistic Cub fan. I don't go with all the Cubby blue, win if you can, lose if you must, all that crap. I call my team what it is at times, and I just don't like what they do. But this is kind of what WWE has said. Maybe WWE kind of thought that this is a possibility that we got to bring some of our younger guys up and really start to make some new talent. I mean, it worked so well for Bray Wyatt. It worked pretty well for Bo Dallas. I mean, there's a lot of things going on there that they could really end up doing and making happen. And I like what they did with the NXT. We talked about it with Doug earlier in the show. So there's a lot of opportunities there. And speaking of Bray Wyatt, great segue, huh? There's a lot of talk about him challenging for the Intercontinental Championship. And, I think that somewhere down the road, you could see him in an Intercontinental Championship picture. And I do like there's a possibility of having Dolph Ziggler and Bray Wyatt eventually feud. Because if what they were trying to do on Monday Night Raw with Bray Wyatt and Chris Jericho, by having them basically finish out their feud and have this be it, this could have easily been it. However, we did see Jericho and Bray Wyatt afterwards, feud a little bit outside, but then they moved on. You saw Jericho basically get the hell kicked out of him by Randy Orton inside the locker room after getting his knee attended to, and now that leaves Bray Wyatt with a big void. To me, Bray Wyatt got the W. I mean, it looked like you were going to see Jericho get out of that cage and everything else. But now you saw Jericho come off the cage, basically murder Bray Wyatt on the way down, and Bray Wyatt got out of the ring, albeit because it was kind of a, interesting thing where he turned and he fell out. But the look on his face when he hit the mat was like, I beat Chris Jericho. I set out what I had to do. And to me, that does two things. It keeps Chris Jericho strong in the people's eyes because he is Chris Jericho. Also, what he did from the top of the cage, a la Jimmy Snuka, back in the day at Madison Square Garden. And also, too, it really made Bray Wyatt look still strong in a lot of people's eyes because he won the match. And I think most wrestling fans go based on wins and losses and, what they can do inside the ring and be victorious and whatnot. I mean, this definitely helped Bray Wyatt continue on as a very top-notch, A-level type of player in the WWE. There's no doubt about it, in the last 9 months or so, anybody who really has elevated themselves more than Bray Wyatt. The guy can wrestle. He's got a look to him. He's got a great personality. I think sometimes the bantering and the rambling and stuff he does maybe goes a little bit too long, in my opinion. Sometimes less is more, but it's good. It's very beneficial to those fans who like a character that I believe they can relate to. Bray Wyatt's not your pretty boy type of guy out there in the spandex shorts and fluffing his hair and doing all kinds of fancy dancy moves. He wears white pants, a black shirt, has a beard as long as Cleveland, hair, tattoos. He's crazy. And I think that relates to a lot of people. So if him and Dolph Ziggler do eventually hook up, like there's been some reports about doing and moving him to that status, I think that's a great idea. Because I think they can only go too far, so far that is, they can only go so far with The Miz and Dolph Ziggler. I mean, eventually that's going to have to culminate and, eventually end, just like any of these feuds in the WWE do. It's going to have to happen. That's all you can say. And Bray Wyatt, to me, is somebody who I think is a future champion down the road. There's no doubt about it. He is a future champion. He will do well as a championship type of player in the WWE. Does he need a belt? No. He doesn't need one. Jake the Snake Roberts was a great example of that back in the day. He didn't need something, but he was maniacal and crazy. And people flocked to him. They related to him. Because a la Bray Wyatt, Jake could sit there and just look at the camera and talk at this level into the microphone and just make you want to turn up the TV because you want to hear what he had to say. That's what he did. And that's what Bray Wyatt does. I would like to see that. I would like to see him, if not win it, at least have some sort of really competitive, focused matches on the IC Championship. I've said it many times on this show, wrestling fans, that to me, the belts are still a very integral part of what wrestling is. People say, well, it doesn't matter anymore who holds the belt. It's a prop. Well, okay. Maybe it's a prop. Maybe it doesn't really matter who holds them, but, it does matter to a lot of people. And I'm one of them who is in favor of having a championship defended on a regular basis and has some real credibility to it. Now, Sheamus is somebody who has the U.S. Championship, but they don't really play a lot on that he's the U.S. champion. They don't really kind of dwell on it too much. You don't really see a lot of it. But, I mean, he is defending it. He is out there having decent wrestling matches. People still like Sheamus. There was a lot of talk about him eventually turning heel and doing this and whatever else. The IC Championship, I talked about it a couple weeks ago with Doug on the radio show here by saying that I like the current project that The Miz and Dolph Ziggler are doing. I like it. I think it's good. It's decent for what it is. But I would like to see maybe it the other way around. I would like to still see Miz hold the belt and have Dolph Ziggler chase him and make fun of him. They could have eventually had that picture of him getting his butt tanned and have the IC belt being held by somebody over his ass. I mean, that could have been a good way of showing that he takes the belt with him everywhere. He takes himself being the IC champion very seriously. And at Night of Champions, I think then would have been the cherry on top of the sundae right there. That would have been the coup de grace for me. And I'm just saying that's what I would like to have seen because this program will eventually move on. And we'll see what's going to happen with that. But, I mean, as long as these guys stay healthy, like Dolph Ziggler, who's had a very, very good run so far here in the WWE, I think that he's really come alive and done some great things here in the WWE recently. I like his character. I like the way he wrestles. There is a little bit of Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, in my opinion, with him. I'm not comparing him to Kurt Hennig. I'm not saying that he is the reincarnation of Kurt Hennig, but he does have a lot of similar factors and a lot of the style that Kurt had in his day that people liked. Very quick on his feet, takes excellent bumps. Has that look about him, that cockiness when he was a heel, but the likability factor too when he's a babyface. I mean, Dolph Ziggler is an excellent talent. I'm glad that he's the champion. I would have liked to have seen him maybe win it in a couple weeks at Night of Champions. That would have been my pick because I think the program that he's doing with The Miz, like I said a moment ago, is good. But it would have been better if he was the face chasing the heel in this situation. That's just my opinion. But anyway, the other thing is, too, that I want to talk about is that, it's been over a year now. Actually, I think a year this week. Yeah, last year, September 10th, actually a year ago today, that Jerry Lawler suffered a heart attack on Raw TV. I'll never forget that. I remember watching the show, and if I'm not mistaken, this is how weird I am about remembering things, but I believe the primetime players were in a tag team match, and I can't remember who they were wrestling, but they had a match, and it was interesting because he was sitting there calling the match, and out of nowhere, he just kind of like faded off, and you heard him actually like snoring or something into the microphone. And you could hear Michael Cole being very, concerned generally about what was going on. It was odd because Lawler had a match against CM Punk and Dolph Ziggler and team with Randy Orton and everything else. And during the course of the match, we saw Ziggler, from what I understand, hitting him with multiple elbow drops to the chest. And later on that night, Lawler, he collapsed at the announcing table. He suffered an actual heart attack. And it was funny because there was a lot of talk about, he jokingly, put the blame on Ziggler, which is another segue here that I'm talking about. But this was a cool tweet by Jerry Lawler. He said, 2 years ago, today in Montreal, was body slammed by the Grim Reaper. CM Punk once asked me who I'd ever beat. He said, Death. But that wasn't 2 years ago. That was actually, it was 2 years ago. Excuse me, 2012. Excuse me. Yeah, I was reading that wrong. It was 2 years ago. But the thing is that Jerry Lawler is a fighter. I mean, this is a guy who has been through so many things in his life. I mean, in his own personal life and in the thing and stuff like this. I mean, to go through having a heart attack on live TV on a show like WWE Raw, for that matter. I mean, that's huge. You know what I'm saying? That's just amazing. So, we got a few more minutes left of the show, Mike, over there. Huh? No, you can't hear us on the microphone. You can just, if you know what we'll do? We got about 4 minutes. If you want to take some calls off the air, that's cool. If you want to patch them through, let me know. But if you want to call and get right onto the show right now and ask any kind of questions or comments or whatever else about the show or about wrestling in general, give us a call. Mike, my buddy over here, he's filling in sometimes and doing some things with some of the sound and whatnot and running phones and whatnot. If you want to give us a call and try to get on the air live right now, he says we got about 3 minutes left. We do have some open lines. 480-745-1033. We'll patch you on live right away, right here on Off the Top Rope Radio. Pick up the phone if you want to give us a buzz. 480-745-1033. Mike, I may even intercept some of your stuff there and just put someone on live right off the bat. That may happen. So we'll see how that works out. But again, 480-745-1033. I know some of the fans out there who call faithfully each week and they talk to Mike off the air. They talk to Cindy, who was here a few weeks ago. We got people coming in here all the time doing stuff and whatever else. So if you want to give us a call, we'll put you on right away. 480-745-1033. You may get Mike, you may get me. Who knows? We'll just toss the dice and see what happens. Are you getting some calls now, Mike? Huh? Yeah. Well, if they want to be patched through, it's fine. A lot of them call and just say they want to talk. That's fine. No, they can talk to you. You can relay stuff to me on the message, stuff like that. Going back a little bit here before the last few minutes that we got to go on, I really like the way that the WWE is trying to bring on some new talent, try to make some superstars and whatever else out of this whole thing. I mean, the NXT thing was really cool. And I think that right now is a good idea to really try to maybe bring some more interest into the forefront of what the WWE is trying to offer. And I like it. I think it should be really good to see where they're going to go with this. Yesterday's people are kind of moving on. Today's stars may eventually, move on and do other things as well. And I think there's a lot of great, hungry talent out there that really wants to make their niche in the WWE, and I like it. I like it a lot. So, okay, Mike's over there goofing around, whatever else. But I just want to let you know that we were supposed to have Sam Houston on the phone today. Sam Houston was supposed to join us, and unfortunately, I will be honest with you, he told me that he works on big rigs out in the ocean. He's very in-depth with what he does. It's a very interesting job, and he says there may be a weird situation where something comes up where my cell will not pick up from where I am at that time. And I tried calling him 3 or 4 times before we did the interview segment, and that was the situation we ran into. So I'm going to talk to Mike hopefully this week. I know he'll be calling me, probably even call me tonight when I'm on my way home from the studio and apologize or talk to me, whatever else. And that's fine. I don't blame Sam. It happens. It's live radio. It's what happens in this world. But I do appreciate, obviously, everybody who tuned in. Thank you to Doug McDonald from WrestlingRumors.net. I appreciate all the fans who have called Mike and chewed his ear off about wrestling and stuff like that. There's a lot of people who are shy about coming on the air, but that's okay. If you guys want to talk and just pass it on and whatever else, Mike is a huge wrestling fan. So we appreciate that. So we're going to get the heck out of here for now. We want to let you know that we're on every single Wednesday right here on Off the Top Rope Radio, KQCK radio stations, and check us out on Facebook. Go to KQCK Radio. It's awesome. There's a lot of cool things. There's a lot of great shows. You want to definitely be part of it because there's so many great things out there that you can listen to on our studio. I should say on our shows from our studio. We have so many great things. Go check out our website, KQCK.com. Enjoy it and everything else. We'll be back next week right here, September 17th, 2014, with another edition of Off the Top Rope Radio with nobody but the greatest guests that we have. And we do thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week. Be careful. Be safe. Remember, we'll see you at the matches. Thank you once again, wrestling fans, for listening to today's show. We would love to hear from you away from the airwaves, so we invite you to like our Facebook page at Off the Top Rope Radio. And any emails you want to send, please send them directly to me at Brian, BRIAN, at KQCKradio.com. We'll talk to you next week right here on KQCK Radio, USA Costa Rica.